Hi guys, welcome back to another Bourbon Santa video, and today is the first day of Booker's Month. So what we're going to do today is we're going to get all of the old stuff out of the way, and then we're going to work on 2017, 18, 19, and 20 for the rest of the month. We're going to blind a lot of stuff, and so we're going to do these older Bookers that I have and figure out which one we like the best. And then that's what we're going to put in to the competition for our vintage Bookers. So what we have over here is a 2006. This is from before they started naming the batches. This one is batch C06-K-8. And it was the fourth of 5 releases that year. So this is the oldest one that I have. And this one came to me from Benjamin Talib. Thank you, buddy. And super excited to have one this old. I didn't start trying Bookers until I had my first cask strength bourbon in 2018, and it was Backyard Barbecue. Now this is not the same bottle. During that year I drank at least 3 bottles of those. And since then, I've been able to get my hands on a few more. So I have one that's open that I sip on every now and then. And that's one of my nostalgic favorite Bookers because it was the first. So when I discovered Bookers in 2018, I decided that I probably should try some from 2017 because there were still a few sitting around the shelves. I tried them, and the couple that I tried back then, I wasn't wowed by. But I ended up collecting all of 2017. So from 2018 forward, I would buy 2 of every Bookers that came out. And I would drink one and save the other, thinking that someday I would do a huge tournament of Bookers and see which one I liked the best. And so here we are. So anyway, so I haven't had anything up until recently older than 2017. And then Benjamin was able to hook me up with this bottle from 2006, which is amazing. And then I also was able to get my hands on a 2016-05. That's the Off Your Rocker batch. And then Benjamin also sent me a 2016-06 No Hard Times, which was kind of unicorn Bookers. A lot of people say that's one of the best. We'll find out. I also had, and this is all that's left of it, I had a 2014-06 that I found. And this was one of my favorite Bookers. And I ended up saving 4 ounces of it, just in case I ever wanted to compare it or do something like what we're doing now. And then also, I had someone send me, and I slipped my mind, and I didn't mark on this bottle who it's from, but someone sent me a Booker's 2015-03 Center Cut sample. So, and I tasted it as soon as I got it and decided that, yeah, I'm definitely saving this for this. So let's go through these. I guess we'll start with the oldest and go to the newest of these vintage Bookers and see what we think. The 2006 has an immense vanilla, cherry. It's also got a deep, funky note. A funky note that I get a lot on E.H. Taylor. I also get, it's similar to, but not exactly a Dickel funk. It's different. But it's a funky, older whiskey kind of note. A little bit of rye notes coming through. Some really, like, thin caramel. It's not like a nice, thick, viscous caramel. It's a thin caramel. But this is a fantastic nose. It's not sharp in any way. It doesn't bite. It doesn't fight you. It's just nice and gentle. Let's taste it. A lot more rye notes on the taste. It's sharper on the taste than it was on the nose. A little bit of caramel, a little bit of butter, brown sugar, not much vanilla or cherry. Kentucky Hug. Rye prickles in the throat. A little spiky. A little... It's less balanced than the nose would lead you to believe. Going back to the nose, the rye notes are much more prevalent. Interesting. So let's move on to the 2014-06. Now this also was before they started naming them. So, ooh, this has got a candy note. Toffee, like saltwater toffee. Less vanilla, less cherry. Slightly breadier. I want to go with sea salt, saltwater toffee. And not circus peanuts. It's a different kind of candy, but it's in that same vein. Much more balanced on it. Oh, the palate is rich, caramel, butterscotch. The rye notes are way subdued. Wood, very oily, very viscous. That, to me, is stereotypical, right down the middle, Booker's. Ooh, yeah. I remember now why this one was such a standout for me. I love this one. Teensy bit of rye shows up on the nose, but it's like a candied rye, like super sweet. Okay. So far, I prefer this one. Center Cut from 2015. Ooh. Bit of leather. The rye on this is a very different profile. It's round. It's not sharp. It's a nice round rye note. No funk of any kind like we found here. That super candy sweetness from here is very different. It's like the candy is wrapped around the rye. It's like a little rye sandwich. A little bit of butterscotch, but subdued. That odd leather note. Oh, man. Thick, super oily. That's the oiliest one so far. It just coats your mouth like molasses. And going back to the nose, the rye is bigger. And there's a chocolate note. It's like chocolate rye. Ooh. The chocolate starts to come through on the palate. Ooh. Center Cut is gorgeous. I'm not sure. Let's move on to Off Your Rocker. This is 2016-05. This one is 6 years, 7 months old. And let's see. I think this is the oldest one so far. This is the youngest of all of these, and this is the oldest one so far. I'm not 100% sure on the age of the Center Cut, so that could be wrong, but bready. Interesting. This one has the least interesting nose so far. It's like almost caramel and almost butterscotch, but not. It's like half a note. It's like half a note and squished together. Kind of flat, kind of uninteresting. Very simple. Nothing big jumps out at you. Has a large ethanol ding. It's not real spiky. It's like tiny little spikes. And the palate pretty much mirrors the nose. It's just kind of boring, actually. This one, you could just sip this one like or on the rocks. It's not gonna wow you with huge flavor combinations and complexity. Yeah, it's just kind of flat. And I'm you know the smell of Kool-Aid powder, like cherry Kool-Aid powder, or maybe the blue one, whatever the blue one's called. Yeah, I can't think of what the blue one's called. Anyway, it's a hint of that, the smell of the powder, like when you're pouring it into when you're a kid. I'm aging myself now. When you're making Kool-Aid and you pour it into the jug, and you get that. It's a hint of that note. Very odd. Okay, let's move on. This one's No Hard Times, and this one is 6 years 10 months. So now this is the oldest yet so far. Dark butterscotch, browned butter, brown sugar, dark cherry, like Luxardo cherry, not maraschino, dark cherry, or like a cherry compote, like on oak, on burnt, crispy oak. Oh, chocolate, gorgeous rye note, butterscotch, all those same notes from the nose come through on the flavor. Oh, okay. So let's compare. Let's break this down a little bit. Let me look at our proof difference here. 63.85. 63.9. Super close. This one bites you a little less on the nose, like that. The high alcohol doesn't smell like it, doesn't drink like it. This one smells a little higher. It's got a little more zing in the glass. This has a little bit bigger rye note. This is milder. This is all candy and creamy and oily, and this is a little more complex. It's got just a little bit more going on. No, you don't go anywhere near that cat box, you. Catch the dog sneaking towards the cat box. Oh, okay. I have to say that out of those two, I got to give it to No Hard Times. This one's got a bit, after tasting all of these and coming back to it, this has got a bit of that funky note I found on the 2006 in the center cut. Oh. Okay. Now, obviously, this is all just my palate, but I have to give the win out of these five to No Hard Times. No Hard Times is the most interesting. It's the most complex, and it's not the easiest to drink. I think this is easier to drink, easier to sip. This is just smoother and solid. I think this is way more interesting. And that is more interesting to me. Awesome. So good. Okay, so if you notice in the front here, I have little sampley bottles of the 3 big bottles that I'm going to be giving away to some of my patrons. I'm going to pour some more, but we're going to give away a little bit of this to you guys. And each week, as we go through these, I'm going to be giving away some of my bookers so that you guys can try these blinds as well. I'm going to be blinding a lot of the the whole years that I have. I didn't want to do these ones blind because they're from so many different years, but I am going to do the other ones blind, and so I'm going to be sending some blind sample packs to some patrons, and I'm going to give some away on my Facebook page as well. So if you're not already on my Facebook page, go check it out. And if you are, good. And if you want to get better chances of getting some of these, go check out my Patreon account. Anyway, guys, I am so excited for this. I'm happy to get these out of the way, and so we can get into the ones that I've really been saving for and planning for years now. So, cheers to Off Your Rocker. Thank you again, Benjamin. So happy to have this. Such an interesting Bookers. Fantastic. Thanks, guys, for watching. Until next time, have a great day. Mm.